pounds and have, create for myself the possibility of being in prison. And you know how the UK is. In fact, to be honest with you, when I came to UK for my master's, all I had with me was £500.
That's much.
And you said that's much?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all I had.
Yeah.
You said it's much.
That's
And I
much.
didn't have an acquaintance in the UK. I didn't have an accommodation. Maybe I might tell you the story. I didn't have an accommodation, and all I had was £500. Now, when I landed in Heathrow, in fact, I was 3 weeks late because I was coming from Botswana, and either I came on that day or I forfeit the program. And I landed. They are supposed to close by 4. I landed 3:30 on the dot, and I registered. Now, out of that £500, I had to pay £13 a night for about 4 nights, and by the 5th night, the 5th day, I'll have to leave. Now, something interesting happened because I don't just operate; it's part of what I do. So, permit me if I might digress a little bit. Now, I had to draw from part of the skill I had that came to me naturally, and it's the ability to step out of the natural dimension and move into the supernatural dimension. That's how we got that vision. So I had to do that. And what happened? The next day, I went to the library in the school, browsed the churches that we had in that little place. I had about 10 of them. And what was on my inside said, go to this church. I went there the next Sunday. And after the church, I met with the pastor, discussed with him and all that stuff. And part of the challenge I had was that while I was in Botswana as an expatriate worker, the company had challenges. And, couldn't sustain things. I had to leave there temporarily, went to South Africa, came back, and had to apply for this program. So that's part of, the reason I had that challenge. So when I came there and spoke with the pastor, I said I needed an accommodation. He said, there's no accommodation. I said, it's okay. I was about to cross the road, and one brother called me and said, please, can you come? I came back, and he said, I can offer you an accommodation. Just like that. Now, 8 months later, because the world is a very small place, 8 months later, it turned out that this church was having, this church was having a meeting. Now, in the course of that meeting, I grabbed the microphone and I did a few things. And when I began to discuss with the pastor, interestingly, it turned out that this pastor had lived in my father's building. 8 months prior, he said there was no accommodation, nothing, he couldn't help me. Now, after I grabbed the microphone and displayed a few things in that church, we got talking, and I discovered that pastor lived in my father's building. In fact, somehow he was accommodated, not as a full tenant. And the man was just shedding tears that he refused to be of help. Because I didn't come there my own making. I was led to. He was just shedding tears. So had he not, in fact, had that brother not, decided to help, we would not have known. And the man just kept crying all along. By the next year, I was one of the keynote speakers. As a member of the church, I became a keynote speaker in their annual convention. So the world is a small place. Sometimes people come to us for help or come to you for help. If we have the capacity, just do it. You never know how far it can go. And I'm going to get to something at the end of this stuff. When I'm concluding, I'm going to say something that will shock you. So it turned out to be something. I said, well, that's life, and that was it. We moved on. So, talking about being purpose-driven, every individual came to earth with something. There's something you came to earth to do. You could be like Brother Ben, that is good with rocks, right? Rocks is his thing. It comes to him naturally. Speaking comes to me naturally. I didn't train for it. It just comes to me naturally. Despite the fact that I've gone through the 4 walls of education, which has helped me to build other skills. But there are certain things that come to us naturally in life. And that's what has to do with our purpose. So being purpose-driven has to do with being also vision-driven. You have to set a line of vision because someone can connect to you if they don't know your area of specialty. So talking about being purpose-driven, it's all about your fault. It's all about your specialty, what they're good at. Someone needs to know what they're good at in order to make the right connection with you. True or false? True. You need to know what they're into. So knowing what they are into, it's all about being purpose-driven. In Nigeria, it's so funny that anything that flies, everyone wants to get connected to it. I remember in our school days, there was nothing like, let me say, standing comedy, for instance. But you know that today now standing comedy is a multi-million naira industry. But in our days, there was no standing comedy. Now somebody came up with it as his own line of purpose. Now there was no precedent or an antecedent to follow. But the person looks at himself and said, this is what I'm led to bring to earth, to give to my fellow individual. And he started doing it. And I guess it should be the likes of Ali Baba. These were the forerunners of standing comedy. And as he began to do it, before you knew it, some other people entered. They started having the night of 1,000 laughs. Before you knew it now, the likes of I Would Die and all that came in, and they are now millionaires. Just by making people laugh. You know. Now, before now, there was no bridal makeup. True or false? True or false? There was no bridal makeup. Now, somebody looked at herself and said, bridal makeup is my thing. There might not be any other people into it, but it's my thing. So I believe I can go into it and begin to bring value to humanity. And as we speak today now, House of Tara is that lady. In fact, if I will shock you a little, part of what Fela Droto is doing is funded by Tara. House of Tara. Yeah, it's funded by Tara. What you see Fela doing as contesting as the president of the Federal Republic is running for office is resources from Tara, House of Tara. That's what is pushing the gap. He's one of my mentors, so that's how I know. So what you're saying in essence is that sometimes the industry you're into might not be that booming, but if it's your thing, just click in there, just be there. Just be there. If you really network with the right persons, welcome, bro. Just be there. You know, just be there. I remember in 97, or around 91, 92, when the likes of Pastor Roland Wosu was the then local government chairman of, was it Obiomangwa or thereabout. Politics was not fashionable. They come to church to select people to come join politics as chairman of local governments and all that stuff. People didn't want to be in politics. But today now, politics is a do or die. And if I will shock you, the man in Asura is not the value you know. It's Al Sudan. That's serious. You can imagine over 180 million persons being governed by a Sudanese. He couldn't even step into the party, whatever. He was shocked. No, to be honest with you, it's a serious thing. Prof, you remember the projection I made? You remember that? Let me not call it prophecy. I said something. I told them that Buhari cannot win. In quote, Buhari cannot win this election. He has just one political option. And I said that he should release Nnamdi Kanu and declare restructuring. I said it like 30 days before Nnamdi Kanu surfaced. And people started taking me seriously on Facebook. You know, we don't just talk things. These are things that come to us naturally. And today now, what that guy is exposing, there is some fact to it. At least we all here went to school. If you see a man that has intelligence, you know. When a man with intelligence speaks, you know. Judging from what comes out of him. Let's leave the excesses for a moment. But if you see a guy that has intelligence, you know. He just comes. You just know that, yeah, this guy is saying something. Are you with me? So politics wasn't fashionable, but some people took it up to themselves and they were there. And today now, politics is one of the big things. So that's what it takes when we are talking about being purpose-driven. It's all about knowing what comes to us naturally, the very thing that we're good at, following that course. Number 2 is to be process-oriented. First one is to be purpose-driven. Second one is to be process-oriented. When we are talking about process, we are basically looking at the capacity to create value. Now, this is what I bring to earth, Pepsi. Now, Pepsi, this stuff now, it's a finished product. Now, we understand that this is what I'm called to bring to earth. That's the first one. Now, the second one is to be process-oriented. Process basically is the capacity to make a value out of your purpose. That's what process is. So I can know how to do a particular thing, or I can have a particular thing as what comes to me naturally. The next thing is to be process-oriented, to go through a process whereby can be able to create a unique value, especially unique value, something that is unique to me. Because if you are going to rule the world, it has to be something unique to you. If you are going to rule the world, sometimes I don't just think on the local front. I think globally. If I'm brought to any platform, a global platform, can I function? So if I understand that, I then know that I have to build the capacity to get to that level. So when we understand what to bring to earth, the next thing is to go through a process so that we can be empowered to create value from that very, purpose that we bring to earth. Am I communicating? So we are purpose-driven, we are process-oriented. You go through a certain process that will enable you to build the capacity to create value out of that very purpose. The third thing, just 5 things. The third thing is to be people-minded. People-minded. Because whatever you bring to earth is not about you. Right or wrong. It's not about you. That you cook a goosey soup and you like it, and the people you want to serve doesn't like it, is that business going to sell? No. It wouldn't sell. So being people-minded is about having the interest of others at heart. Because it is the people that will determine the success of every existing business. Every successful business is about the people. So if you're thinking people, it will help whatever you do to fly. It will help whatever you do to fly. I study of, in quotes, the religious sector. Now, before the likes of Bishop David Oyedepo, do we know him? David Oyedepo. Now, that's the founder of Winners Chapel, right? Now, before that man came on the scene, pastors were running what I call everlasting services. Where you come to church by 8, you are leaving around 4. You are just there, you are worn out. That was church, everlasting. You can't spend time with your family, you can't watch Premiership. No, what's the weekend all about? If you can't spend time with family, you can't watch Premiership, and you're saying you're serving God. No, I don't buy into it. I'm a pastor, but I don't buy into that. You need to have time for your family, isn't it, bro? You need to have time for your family. You need to spend time and watch Chelsea. Watch Chelsea play. That's what I'm doing. Chelsea? No. To be an Arsenal fan is to give yourself heartbreak. Seriously. I still saw what Arsenal when Kano was there, but not anymore. Those guys are too poor, but they're improving anyway. They're improving. I'm a fan of football. I love Chelsea, but I'm a fan of good football. I was telling someone, my friend in First back there, before that final between Real Madrid and Liverpool, I told him, Salah can't have it. He said, forget it. So you doubt me a lot. But I tell you that Real Madrid is going to win it a third time, and they are going to become the first club to win it back-to-back 3 times. They said it can't happen. The way Salah is coming, there is something that is power. I said, leave the thing powering him. If there is something powering him, I should be in a position to tell you. Because I function from there. That was what I told him. They said, let's see. You are just seated that day. How did they even start? It's like, Real Madrid scored first. Who scored first? Real Madrid or Liverpool, whatever. They equalized it. And you were just shouting out of the roof. Before I knew that at the end of the day, Real Madrid carried the day. Because I was telling him from something I've seen. I just told him, So, Oyedepo came on the scene, and lo and behold, he started running 2-hour services. In fact, an hour for 5-minute services. So you wake up in the morning, you see someone around 7 going to church. Before 9, the person is back home. So it made church interesting. So I go to church around 7 a.m. before 9 o'clock on a Sunday. I'm back home. I can have time for family, have time for other things, socialize, do every other stuff. It made it interesting. So I do this 7 to 9. And someone is waking up probably around 8 and freshens up with 1 hour. He comes into church 9:15 and he still meets a first service because they run their first service thing, they run the second service thing and all that. So they make church form. And before you know it, that guy is one, in fact, as we speak now, he's the richest preacher on earth as we speak. Really? Yeah, he's the richest. Richer than T.D. Jakes. Who else? Richer than Jakes. Who else? He's just the richest of all preachers. Because he understood the dynamics of being people-minded. It's about people. It's about people. Jesus said something interesting. That should be Luke 6:38. He said, give, and what will happen? It shall be given unto you, right? He said, good measure. He said, press down, shaking together, and running over. Shall what happen? Shall men? He didn't say God. He didn't say heaven. He said, shall men, fellow men, give unto you. So, how does it work? This is a product. I make $1 each from this product, the sale of this product, right? I make $1 out of this product. Now, if I sell this product to one person, how much do I make? $1. If I sell to 10 persons, how much do I make? $10. Now, if 1 million persons patronize this product, how much do I make? $1 million. So, it's about knowing the strategy that can help you to get 1 million persons patronage. And that's it. I sponsor posts on Facebook. I pay in dollars. That's where most of my money goes. But I'm using it to position what I do so that I can be able to contribute value beyond my local environment. That's what I do basically. And if I may, this book is the book I was talking about. This is my latest book. And as this book is, I first published it. So someone introduced me to Alex Oti. That was the former MD of Danfod. So I said, read it, sir. Said it was going to read it. It took a while. I had to go to Lagos about 3 times. We were in his office and all that stuff. And he reviewed the book. I said I wanted him to do the forward. He accepted to do the forward, but what he did was edit the book. I accepted that. So I put his name on it. And as we are looking at this book now, to be honest with you, this is an in-house. We are looking for sponsorship to do mass publicity, media publicity, and mass production. This book has the potential to sell between 100,000 to 250,000 copies, what we are looking at. It has that potential. Because this book it's needed in any work environment, whether it's the banking sector, whether it's the local government, whatever. And the strategy is we are trying to partner with every state government to get copies of this book for their local government staff. If you check the potential, we have about 36 states. Let's just take 10 states or 15 states. And we are able to break into those 15 states. And each state has what is it called now? A working local civil service, whatever, of at least a minimum of 5,000 when you put in the local government. Now do the math. You see where I'm coming from. But you need some publicity to be able to do what? Go wide. So if I may, that's part of the thing I said I was going to discuss with you. So that ability to reach so many people. When we met in your office, did you have the Owerri branch? You didn't. But today you have an Owerri branch. Doing branches so that you can do what? Expand. Get more people into it. With Alex Oti's name on this, it has that potential. And as I'm talking to you, I got that endorsement from Alex Oti. The next print has Alex Oti's name on it. As we speak, the book is reviewed on Amazon, so that you want it from any part of the world. You can just click the link and you get it. Just like that. But it has that potential. This is business. This is my field. And I'm telling you the potential is my field. So you can come on and invest. Say positive. So the fourth thing, I'll do the fourth and the fifth, I'm out of your way. The fourth thing, remember I said the first is to be purpose-driven, the second is to be process-oriented, the third is to be people-minded, the fourth is to be possibility conscious. Possibility consciousness. People look at themselves and their skills and they talk down on themselves. I don't do that. It doesn't matter how long it takes me to get to where I'm going, but I am possibility conscious. I believe in possibilities. I'm an optimist. I didn't know anybody in Asoro. You remember this story, right? After we met. And I said I'm going to the villa. I was in Aba at the time. That was how I started living in Abuja. I was in Aba at the time. I didn't have anybody in the villa. I said, I want to get to the villa. So I created something for Goodluck Jonathan at the time. You are aware of that, right? And I went to Abuja in 28 days. I was in the villa. 28 days. From the 1st of February to the 28th, I hit as well. And I was there thrice. In the office of the First Lady, I met with a man called Ikenelia. You know. But I didn't understand the political environment. Now, this is Ikenelia here now. And the next door is Jonathan Patience's office. Jonathan Patience can't leave office without Ikenelia. Now, all Ikenelia needed was to take that stuff, go present it to the First Lady, and they will mass produce it, because I already knew that Jonathan was going to contest. But he ought not to have contested, but I already knew. And I created that stuff. You saw it, sir. And I went. Now, Ikenelia could take this stuff to Lady Patience, and that was it. I would have just been made. That was massive. But Ikenelia could refuse. And that was my second baptism in politics. Baptism of fire. I didn't know that what the man wanted was remove the Danfod and put what? Ikenelia. That was all he wanted. And he didn't communicate. He didn't want my name on it. He wanted his own name on that stuff. Now, the Office of Documentation and Strategy, headed by Oronto Douglas, invited me. I was in a panel. They said I should give them 10 copies. I gave them, told them everything about the book. I didn't know that what these guys wanted was to take that concept, remove everything I've done, use it to create their own concept. And that was what they did. Now, on the day this guy was launching that he was going to contest, I saw about 6 different documents. Mine was missing. And they took my concept and did that. I wanted to take it off. The same spirit in me said, no, don't. I left it. And he said he was going to lose. That Jonathan was going to lose that election. Now, all the prophets or whatever you call them had already said it was Jonathan. But he lost. And 2 weeks before that tenure expired, Oronto Douglas died. Go and investigate what I'm just saying. 2 weeks before that story, he died. So that was how I got to start living in Abuja and all that stuff. So the possibility consciousness is about looking at something. You say you're projecting that I want to achieve this. You just believe. You might not look like it. You just believe you can achieve it. If I tell you that in the next few years I'll be going from here to the US and wherever preaching, probably not motivating, because you don't take motivation to US. True or false? You can, yeah. But I wouldn't take motivation. I'll take spiritual concept. That's what sells in the US. Because I've done my research. And that's what I'm working on next. Spiritual concept. Because there is no, will I say, true authority when it comes to spiritual concept. You can bring a thing now, they look at it as consistent with whatever, it's endorsed. So it's about possibility consciousness. You look at it and say, yeah, I can do this, yeah, I can achieve this, and you go for it. Now the 5th one. If anybody can guess what the 5th one is, you get a copy of that stuff. Anybody? I said the first is to be purpose-driven, the second is to be process-oriented, the third is to be, to be people-minded, the fourth is to be publicity, what is it, possibility conscious. What's the 5th? You get it, you get that book. Okay, sir. Okay, action-driven. Any other person? You get it, you get that book. Instant. Not tomorrow now. All right. Okay. Prof, hold this. You will see it and you will tell us.
Putting everything in prayer.
Okay. Take it, Prof. You see it there, the 5th one. You could just go to the content, you see it and tell us. Okay. You said it's what?
Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
It's not. It's okay, that's the content or whatever, or you get all the way down to where it is. What's that stuff?
Be publicity compliant.
Be publicity compliant. Be publicity compliant. You are purpose driven, you're process oriented, you're people minded, you're possibility conscious, and you're what? Publicity compliant. Publicity is all about I can do this, and you are letting the world know that you can do it. So, I can do this, and I create an avenue to tell the world. If I believe I have a value that my city needs, what do? I create awareness, city-wide what? Awareness. If I believe I have a value that my state needs, I create awareness on state level. If I believe I have a value on national level, what do? I create awareness. Now, if I believe I have a value, and that's what every other person should be aspiring to on a global scale, what do? You create awareness on a global scale. And that's what Facebook is there for. You just see the button, the thing goes to Atlanta. You just see the button, the thing goes to New York. You hit a button, it moves to Melbourne. You hit another button, it moves to Montreal. That's what Facebook is there for. Probably might not be there in the next 10 years. But for now, I do maximize it because I believe I have a value that my world needs. So I put it out there, you just click a link on Amazon and it just goes. So we are purpose driven, we are process oriented, we are people minded, we are possibility conscious, and we are publicity compliant, and that's it. Before you know it, anybody comes to you, the person knows that this is what you are into, and this is what your vision, your projection is, and this is what the person can bring on the table, and there is this synergistic partnership to be able to accomplish that. Thank you very much. Wow.
It's wonderful. Please, can you give another round of applause to Danfod? Sorry, this is awesome. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
I have copies here. 1,000, sir. I have copies here, and I believe what we have here, just 1,000 Americans. Just get a copy of it.
Is this the only one you have?
That's the mass one I have here. Those ones are
Is it the same
singles.
with this?
No, this is different. This is different. That is different.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation.
Is this for sale too?
No, this is not.
It's wonderful.
What about the other one?
It's no one was my.
No, but we need to read.
You can always.
Yeah, I think we get this as time goes on. Let's quickly watch the next item because of time. Because we didn't start on time because of.
Perhaps some people will have a question to ask the resource person.
Please, if you have any question, just raise your hand. Any question about what you say? So, does anyone have any question for me? Okay, in absence of that, let's quickly go to the next item on the list, which is personal business introduction and networking. At this point, we will take the microphone to each and every one of us to, you introduce yourself and tell us what you do, so that we know what you are into and know where we can help. Thank you very much. We start the brother.
Is that?
Introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Me? You're not here.
My name is Danfod. I'm a carpenter, yeah? No, I'm the best carpenter, seriously.
Professional carpenter.
What? That's all, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think for what we gathered, you are the one that designed this place.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful one. That's too much.
Local fabrication.
Look at. Really?
Yeah, he's local. Thank you.
I
I have the other one.
wonderful. Who is this person?
Who even told you about this project? Who told you?
You know. This is my brother. Don't you know this?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That's the music. Yeah, but if you're that, that's
Open the one. I am a salesman.
Which company? Which company?
Dealing with dreams.
Okay.
It's a private family thing.
That's very good. But you have to tell us the company because we are going to link you with the other place. It is a member. You can supply any drinks. Don't you know that? So tell us the company you work with. What kind of drink? Kind of drink. Big drinks, you can. Big drinks. Okay, thank you very much.
Contractor with Nigeria LNG. I'm a contractor.
What's a
Procurement. I'm a practicing human resource personnel. I work with ABL Oil and Gas. My own department will provide labor for the IOC. I am a contract administrator, head of compliances.
Olare is my name, aka former Ola Onoga. Married Ukezawa. I'm a principal accountant in Federal Ministry of Education, Parastatal National Examinations Council.
Yeah, my name is Emeka Ofegu. I'm an engineer, oil and gas. So.
My name is Ono Haten. I work for Benin Associates Limited. We deal on doormats, rugs, and anything sellable.
I am Collins Onguche. I'm a hydrographic stroke land surveyor. I work with a private oil servicing company, Digital Horizon here in Portugal.
My name is Okura Felkesi. I'm what we know as AutoCAD operator or professional draftsman in oil and gas, and presently we have a project LNG and control and certificate migration. So I'm the not superintendent, but I'm the draftsman for that project, and we'll be running the project very soon to begin another one. Thank you.
I'm Chima Ono, procurement manager, EG Technical Limited, oil and gas.
Good evening, all. My name is Monica Chidebere. I'm a computer scientist. I'm into graphic design and printing. I also have a little, over 2 years knowledge of monitoring and evaluation with FHI 360.
monitoring and evaluation with
FHI 360.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Orosu Chimansamo. I'm a lecturer at the State University. I have a project, I have a business to one of the institutions in Port. I want to start a business. That's what I'm going to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ifeanyi Daniel Danfod, Lead Resource Person, Passionate Living Resources International. We deal with human capacity development training for organizations, irrespective of career sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bro, you introduce yourself.
Now you go talk. Now if you talk, I go talk.
We welcome our sister, Sandra. Wow. Hey. Welcome. Welcome. Have a seat.
Sorry.
We are introducing ourselves and what we do. So we would like to start from. Okay, we like to continue with. Okay, let's start with Bina. Let's see if you introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
What else? Good evening, everyone.
I am Vida Carlo. I'm a staff nurse midwife. Then what else?
Are you married?
Yes, I'm married with 5 kids. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, thanks. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mama Konibu. I'm a public servant. I work with Airtel.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Eze now. I run a bakery here. What's the name? Crinkles and Cream Bakery.
You are welcome. Let me introduce myself. I'm Obikejuku. I own a small firm, Ecology International. We're into marine. We salvage vessels from the sea, then pieces it, and bring people into metal. Then secondly, we're into safety materials. Then lastly, we're into fashion too. That is suits, shoes, chinos, and shirts. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, my name is Onoka Opa. I am an architect and a facility manager with Danfod Bank.
Listen, are you Onoka Opa?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know it's almost.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome. A lot of changes. So let's quickly watch the next item. So here's our DJ.
Before we do, I think it's time maybe compare. I can just go to time.
Okay. Let's take the last one before. Oh, we have more people. You're welcome, brother. Are you on first? Yes. You guys are welcome first.
Good evening. Welcome.
You guys are welcome. No, you people came late. And maybe we are studying the issue, we flog you people and see them. You guys are welcome. Please, we like to know you guys and what you do. And which state you belong to. Sorry, we omitted that. But since you guys came late, we do have to go with that. Sorry, who is the. Okay.
Just start with it. See right in.
Okay. What? Start with it.
My name is Omar Geju. I'm into business. My set is 28.
What kind of business?
Engage you.
You never know, there may be somebody here who is interested in what you're doing.
Okay. Actually, we go to the refinery, we purchase products, and we sell to private individuals at our own rate.
What products?
Petroleum products.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chisin Choi Chukwunaiji. I'm a student, final year at Abia State University. I graduated 2012. That's my side to 12.
Oh, wow, welcome.
Our
baby.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akbar Innocent Bill. I'm a businessman. We are the ones running Fan Sponsor. What we do with Fan Sponsor is we take money from individuals and we empower local farmers with it. So just like what Fan Credit is doing, but we're doing that in Port Harcourt. So that's.
Yeah, set.
My set is 2007.
Wow. Now welcome, you guys are babies, so I think we have a lot more. No, he's the brother. He came. You guys are welcome. You can see we have.
Again now, set. Set again.
Okay.
Which set? I know, now let me just so that the newer ones.
Okay, please tell us your set, please.
Just a set.
97.
97. Hey, you guys.
97.
Chad.
98.
95.
We are coming. Hey! Ancestor.
99.
98.
98.
97.
98.
2005.
5.
2007.
97.
2002.
Ancestor 95.
Interestingly, Ifoma is 001 from school. First person I was registered. So let's see if I have the
Then, 98.
2001.
Okay. So, let's quickly, please.
DJ.
No, we have to take the last one before the entertainment. But I think the DJ is not accept right now. No, let's finish. Please, we want to invite our dear sister, the governor, Mrs. Ifoma Ola Okenzala, to give us the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Hi everyone. We're still having some more people.
As they come, they'll introduce themselves.
Somebody.
As a show.
Welcome to our first reunion in Port Harcourt. It's nice to see all of you. It's been so long, so many days. And sorry if I don't remember your names or your faces. Some of you have changed. So we just want to say thank you for coming and honoring us. It's good to see everybody once more. And please, let's keep in touch. All our numbers on the Port Harcourt based WhatsApp group. I'm going to post more numbers there. I'm going to put the names of today's meeting and all that stuff. So please, let's try and keep in touch. And luckily, we have our businesses, we know what we all do. So let's try and patronize ourselves, like Pringles and cream. I'm waiting for the cake. You know? And this 98 set, please keep us posted as well. Anyway, it's not that far. And please don't try and
Bina, where is my t-shirt?
Bina, this one you came today. One more. So thank you all for coming. From now on, go to music, dance. There's a lot of shark. You want to drink. You cannot drive, park your car. This is your Boston's place. It's safe.
Our brother,
he's coming. He did a night shift. So the new people that came over, would like to have your own introductions as well. Let's know
your name, what you do, and your set.
Whether you're an ancestor or you're a small. So thanks for coming. So after this, we're going to. I'll tell you when the original fish is ready. We'll go outside and have our food, both the rice and the green fish. Thanks for coming. No clap.
It's not a small song.
I am quite delighted to be here. I don't know if I'm late or I'm very sorry for that. My name is Ukechi Okafo. 2000 set. I live in Port Harcourt and I work with Owando Energy Services as a drilling fleet engineer. So I'm a rig worker, kind of. So it's my pleasure to be here, and this is the first time I've attended a reunion like this.
Okay.
So, and I just came back from the rig yesterday and was informed by Chinedu. So it's my pleasure meeting all of you, both my juniors and my seniors.
What set?
2000. Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Hello everyone. I'm Danfod Ibe. But back then in school I was known as Justina Ibe, 98 cents. I'm a banker by profession. I'm married with 3 children. And I stay here in Port Harcourt.
Which bank?
Diamond Bank.
Diamond Bank.
Which branch? That's my colleague now. Let me know. I will make a note as scared.
I don't know. I forgot baby. I don't listen to this. Somebody tell me say no. I said Obi. I was telling you. No. Not the only student I get this place.
My name is Chini.
When I was I'm on the bus. I'm buying my house. I come here, but I'm
stay here in Port Harcourt, and I deal with wine and spirit.
Any other person? Please, while we wait for what are the owner of this place, we would like to.
I don't know.
Sorry, what was the DJ?
You need to take a place already.
Hello, DJ.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
I can end this now.
Let me know if I can operate this because.